Now, the next sector that in which the reforms were brought about in a big way was the financial sector. In the financial sector, there are three categories: the banking sector, the capital sector, and the insurance sector. But here we'll take up the reforms that were introduced in the banking sector. Banking sector earlier was a very regulated environment. It was regulated by RBI and the reserves were very high. They had a very credit was the aim of it was to regulate the credit flow, to keep the cash reserves as high, and lending rates were also high. It was not promoting investment. It was aimed at keeping the money supply low in the market so as to control the inflationary conditions. But it was felt that it was not conducive for investment purposes. So reforms were introduced in this sector. CRR was lowered. CRR is the cash reserve ratio that the banks maintain, that the commercial banks maintain with RBI. So when that is high, the reserves that are left with the commercial banks for lending purposes, they also come down. That was lowered. That was very high at that time. That was 15%, and which was lowered further. And at the moment it is 4%. The CRR is 4%. SLR was also very high. It was 38.5%. SLR is the statutory liquidity ratio which the banks keep as reserves with themselves. That was very high. So you can see that nearly 40% of the reserve that they have, the money that they have, 40% they kept as reserves with themselves. So the lending capacity came down. This has been also brought down, and at the moment it is 22%. Prime lending rates earlier were set by RBI, but now the banks set them themselves. But the savings account and rate of interest on export credit are still subject to regulation by RBI. Bank rate is the rate at which RBI lends to the commercial bank. That has also been reduced. It was high. And rate of interest on saving deposits was reduced from 4.5 to 3.5. And now it is 4%. So we can see with all this rates coming down, there was more money supply available in the market, which meant that people were more enthusiastic to invest. They could get more money, and so they could invest more in the economy. RBI had also issued guidelines for setting up of new banks. In 2001 also they had issued the guidelines, and again in 2013 they have issued guidelines. Any business house or financial sector, finance bank which has a strong track record for the past 10 years can open up a bank, but with the permission of RBI. Public sector banks have also been encouraged to raise money from public through shares. Similarly, banks have also worked in order to reduce their non-performing assets. As we all know, in India, one of the major problems that the finance sector faces is of defaulting. Many people take the loans from the banks, but they are not able to repay them back, or they default at their on their loans, or do not pay their interest. This is one of the major problems that the banks face. For this, and the basic function of the bank is not to deal with these things. The basic function is of lending money. So they could not, since they could not divert their energy on collecting the money from the people who were not repaying them back. So for that, a credit risk management system was introduced, and for further that purpose, the government had passed the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act. Under this act, suppose if the bank had an NPA of 100 crores, which they were not able to realize. What do? They sell this 100 crores of NPA to another asset reconstruction company, which buys them at 90 crores. Now this is the loss of 10 crores. The bank incurs the loss of 10 crores, but at least their books, their balance sheet is cleared of all those red defaulters. So the asset reconstruction companies take that 90 crore debts and they realize those debts. It may be that they realize it at 95 crores and they get a profit of 5 crores, or it may be that they realize only 85 crores out of it and they get a loss of 5 crores. But that is their job. That for that purpose, asset reconstruction companies are made, and for that purpose, to promote such things, the Securitization and Reconstruction Act was passed. Derivative products such as forward rate agreements and interest rate swaps have been introduced to protect the people from fluctuations in interest rates. Now suppose, let's take an example of wheat. The production of wheat takes place in the month of March. At that time, the price of wheat is low. But if you go and buy wheat in the month of October, its prices are high. So what does the producer does? It sets itself a rate that is the forward rate, not the rate of the month of March, but a forward rate where he can trade and get profit for the same. If he would sell the price in the March, he would not make so much of profit. But if he sell at the price that was prevalent in October, he would make profit. So he would set a forward rate and deal in that rate. These steps were introduced to facilitate producers so that they do not suffer losses due to fluctuations in the prices or interest rates. Basel II and Basel III are the frameworks that have been adopted by RBI. Basel II and Basel III are basically standards that are set up by Association of Banks and are followed internationally for proper functionings of banks. So this was adopted by RBI. Basel II was adopted in the year 2008 to ensure financial stability and transparency, and Basel III has been adopted in the year 2030 to strengthen the capital requirement. These are the standards that are followed internationally.